Right. So I'm here with cinematographer Peter James from Australia. He's most known for Driving Miss Daisy, of course, and he's with us right now at the cinematographers conference here in Budapest. Hi, how are you?
Thanks very much. Thanks for the invitation to come to Hungary. It's great.
I'm fine to hear. I'm glad to hear that. Actually, can I ask you something about how do you start this whole trade of being a cinematographer? What was your first impression? When was the first time you really wanted to be a cinematographer or director of photography? Actually,
Well, originally I didn't know much about it. I left school when I was 15, and I got a job in a studio as a junior position. A cousin of mine is a writer, and he knew somebody at a film studio, so that's how I got in through a family friend. And I'm dyslexic, so it's very hard for me to read things, and to go back to school to do history and things like this was not possible. So I just left school and went to work, and I just loved it from day one, and that was it. I just got hooked. So it was great. Yeah.
That's nice. And can I ask you what's your favorite new and old movie, if you can answer that?
Well, I just saw Book of Eli the other day, and it's beautifully done. Don Burgess photographed that, and it was shot on the Red camera, which was it's unusually good quality for a camera like that, and they did a lot of special effects. The cinematography is really fantastic. I don't really have any favourite films. I like a broad range of films, so I don't really have anything in particular that is my favourite.
Maybe some older names or newer names from, not your favorite one, just the ones that came to the top of your head right now.
Well, films that really influenced me were probably films by Geoffrey Unsworth, the English cameraman. Films like Dr. Zhivago and Ryan's Daughter and the David Lean movies when I was young. They were big films. Lawrence of Arabia was a big influence on me. But when you look at them now, sometimes they look a bit old-fashioned. The lighting was the day for night's not very good. Very obvious camera shadows that are not that pleasant. But you have to think that they were working with big cameras and in the desert, and they needed lots of light. They had arc lights, and very difficult to work with.
What was your impression working on Driving Miss Daisy?
Well, it was my first big American film, and I had not shot a film in America before. I'd only done television commercials, and I was a little worried about working in America. I wasn't really ready for it, but by the time I did Miss Daisy, I knew I could do it, and it was a film that the budget was reduced by half, so and we didn't have very many days to photograph it. So it wasn't, I think it was like a $7 million film, and it was just a very nice story. I like the story. My agent, I had an agent for 14 years in America, and he kept on sending me these scripts that were all violent and crazy shoot 'em up movies. And I said to him, I kept on saying, I don't want to do those sort of movies. They're not the sort of movies I'm interested in. And then Bruce Beresford, the director, came to me, and we'd only met a short time before, and the only job we had done was in a chicken farm, and for a bank, a commercial for a bank. And he asked me to photograph Driving Miss Daisy, and I met with him in Los Angeles and met the producers, and they still didn't have the money together, and finally Warner Brothers put in the last $2 million, and we got the money to go to Atlanta in Georgia and photograph the film. And we had terrible weather, and it was all shot inside a house, no sets. And Jessica Tandy, the leading actress, was 80 years old, and we had all these different cars that were because the film takes place over about 30 or 40 years. It takes a very long period of time, and I think it's 30 years. And I thought, well, how am I going to deal with the different time changes in this film? I can't change my photographic style every time we get a new car or so I decided to look at the script and look at when the big dramatic changes happen. Like when Miss Daisy's maid dies, it's a big change in the house. So, and then when Hope drives Miss Daisy to the Martin Luther King dinner, that's another big change in the story. So at these points I changed the style of the photography. I changed diffusion. I had a lot of diffusion on at the start of the film. I also had smoke in the house, so there was atmosphere. And as the film went on, they become less and less. It becomes clearer and clearer. It starts off quite hazy, and as by the end, when she's very old and she's got dementia, we have no diffusion, no smoke or any nets or anything like this on the camera. The photography is harder and sharper, not as soft, and that was Jessica's real hair at the end. All the other times she was wearing wigs. So we had something like 27 wigs between 5 characters in that film. So there was a lot of wigs, a lot of makeup, a lot of aging makeup happening, and in some cases making her look younger for the earlier parts of the film.